Give us the immediacy right now of housing. Is the recovery for real, and is it a high single-digit recovery?
Well, as Sarah said, there's still a long way to go. The recovery is for real, and we're seeing stronger price increases in markets with stronger job growth. And that's strong evidence that, at least in many markets, not everywhere, but in many markets, that strong job growth is really driving household demand, which is helping boost prices. But remember, prices fell so much during the bust that a lot of what we're seeing is still a rebound of prices.
Distinguish within your wonderful, voluminous data the difference between distressed properties and our real properties. There's a sharp bifurcation there, isn't there?
What we've seen just in the past year is a big shift in sales away from the distressed properties to the more conventional properties. That's a healthy thing for the market to see that shift in sales. But when price indexes look only at what's happened with the conventional sales, leaving aside the distressed sales, we're still seeing big price increases, even on indexes that look only at the conventional properties. So that's helping the market, not just because of the decline in distress.
You talk about a shortage of supply. What happened to all that shadow inventory?
So if there were a big national shadow inventory problem, it would all be coming on the market now. And it's clearly not. The shadow inventory was about those homes that were in the default or foreclosure process. Right now, that's actually pretty localized in places like Florida, New Jersey, New York, and Illinois, places where the foreclosure process takes a very long time, and therefore you've got this backlog of homes in foreclosure. In the rest of the country, most of the foreclosure crisis is behind us. And so that's why there's not the shadow inventory that people expected.
But what's happening in the Northeast? I mean, you don't have investors coming into a New Jersey or New York to buy homes for rental, do you? They're too high priced to make the business work.
That's right. So in the Northeast, you've got many parts of the Northeast that have slower job growth than the rest of the country, first of all, but also you don't have the bargains and you therefore don't have the investors. So the two factors that are pushing prices up in much of the country, strong local job growth and previous price declines that attract investors, the Northeast, for the most part, doesn't have either one of those, outside of some places like Manhattan and Brooklyn, where there are big price increases.
Give us the calculus now on renting versus buying. Should Sarah Eisen go out and buy an apartment?
Well, I don't know enough about Sarah to give any personal advice. But
I'm renting and I'm paying a fortune.
But nationally, it's about 44% cheaper to buy than to rent if you qualify for a 3-5 loan today, stay put for 7 years, and itemize your deductions at the 25% bracket. Even if mortgage rates went up 200 basis points to 5.5, it would still be 20% cheaper to buy than to rent nationally. Right. But that's the national picture. The line is actually much closer in places like Manhattan.
This is a critical point. And Chris Whalen, if you look at rent to buy and all the conventional debates, I would say the housing market right now is a place we've never seen it, where we have immense polarity in Miami and in Manhattan, not even greater New York. Right. It's not a normal housing market, is it? And we're a long way from where we were in price 5 and 6 years ago.
Well, I think we are. And the thing everyone always has to remember is that real estate's not only driven by jobs and consumer income, but it's driven by demographics. You have an awful lot of change going on in the Northeast, the empty nesters wanting to move south. In California, too, you have an enormous influx of overseas money. People who just want to live in that market.
Is the overseas money in effect? Do you see that, Jed Kolko?
We definitely see that. We see a lot of search activity from abroad, particularly in Florida, in Southern California, in New York, and other parts of the country.
And they're coming in with their suitcases full of cash, too.
We try not to track them with the suitcase.
Okay,
We're just looking at the search traffic.
Jed Kolko, thank you so much.